Hi guys, Gilly Hunt here with a little idea of a gift box for Easter or maybe for Mother's Day, both of which are coming up soon. This is my second little idea for you and I'm hoping you enjoyed the other one. So the other one was baskets, by the way, so you look out for little mini baskets, but this one is these lovely pillow boxes and I think they're really gorgeous with just a simple little butterfly decorating the corner. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. And before I do that, I'll just show you how big and wonderful these actually are, because inside of this, I'm going to start spilling, I can get 15 little mini eggs. So what a great little present for someone. So let's scoop them back in. And the lovely thing is they go back in. I could nick one and eat one out and then it would just be 14, nobody would know. And then you just curl them over and that is nicely sealed in, look. Doesn't fall out, I can jump it up and down and it's not going to fall out. So they're nicely fixed with a pretty little decoration on the corner. So let's get going. So for the decoration on the corner, I've used the butterfly Gala stamp set with this particular little butterfly stamp. This is the one we're going to use. There's lots of lovely sayings on here. A little note, thank you so very much, hello beautiful, and what have you. And there's lots of lovely little butterflies to choose from, big and small. So it's this one we're going to use, and I'm going to stamp it using Stays On ink. So let's just move a few of these things to one side. I'm using Stays On ink because in a moment we're going to use the ordinary dye inks to do the decoration, and I don't want the dye inks to pick up the black from the Stays On. If the Stays On wasn't Stays On, but if it was a dye-based black, then the dye-based might pick up the dye-based ink and go funny black corners, but with the Stays On it won't. So here we go. I've just used a piece of very vanilla cardstock this time rather than Whisper White. I tend to get a bit fixated on Whisper White. Oh my goodness, that's stuck so well. I've been chattering away. Don't worry if it sticks. You can always peel it off like I did and stick it back on the block. It's no problem. There you go. Isn't that a lovely, clean, crisp image? Aren't they wonderful? Can you imagine colouring that with inks? I've done that many times and it looks superb. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to eventually cut it out using this punch. So I wanted to show you the punch first. Okay, and we're going to come back with the punch in a moment. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our inks, and I've got Pumpkin Pie and Daffodil Delight, and I've also brought along two little daubers, one for the orange and one for the yellow, and I like to keep them separately if I possibly can, because then I don't have to wash out the ink. So this has already probably got, if I go down onto the corner, it's got a little bit of the orange already still there, look. Okay, so, oh, I've just thrown it into my cup of tea. Oh, it's all right, no, it's not too wet. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Okay, so lots of people I know use their daubers on their pads. I prefer not to. I prefer to take a little bit of ink off onto a block, and I'm going to take some yellow and some orange, and I'm going to get rid of the ink pads because they're just in my way a little bit. And the reason I do that is I prefer to do that because I find that if I'm daubing directly onto the ink pad, I tend to get a little dry or a roughed up part to my pad, and I prefer not to do that. So I'm now going to just take the ink from off there, which is now, I'm just going to circle around a bit just to pick it all up. This is this half, which is the nice orange, and all I'm going to do is go and twirl from the middle, and then I'm just going to shoot it out a tiny bit like that. Okay, that looks a bit mucky at the moment, but don't panic. Now I'm going to do the same with the yellow, which is the Daffodil Delight. I'm just picking it up onto the sponge, and this time I'm going to go from the ends inwards. Okay, and that still looks a bit mucky and a bit messy, but don't panic. I'm just putting the lid on my StazOn. It's quite important to put lids back on StazOn, then it doesn't dry up. Okay, so back to my punch. And this punches out the big one and the small one. Now, I might use the small one for something else, so I'm going to line the small one up as well. Okay, and can you see I've lined it up? And all I'm going to do now is punch it out. Whee! Let's keep that there. And can you see how beautifully that's just blurred across? And now all I'm going to do is bring in my dark pumpkin pie blender pen. And I've already done this, but what I've done is I've just coloured over, and I'll show you on one of the bigger ones. Here we are, look. It's very quick and easy to do. I'll show you that nice and close up. There you go. Just using the blender pen changes that from a plain little basic jewel, which are very pretty, but also into one with a lovely orange tint. Okay, so I'm just going to pick one of the bigger ones, not the very biggest, for the head, and then I'm going to pick out a few for his body, and I'm just going to place them on. In a little row, and I'm hoping to get 3 for a body and 1 for the head. See if I can squeeze one on his tail. I think I can. Let's just give it a good press to make sure they're all really nicely stuck down. Okay. Just occasionally they don't have quite enough sticky on the back, so what I will do is I'll just add a tiny dot of glue. Oh, nothing's working for me today. Let's just make sure I haven't got something caught on that. Come on glue, why are you sticky for me? There we go. Probably because I've had it on the side with the top off for far too long. Okay, and I'm just going to stick this one on for his head. Let's move it into place. And because I've been handling it quite a lot, some of the yellowy orange, because I'd only just done it fairly newly, started to come off, so I'll do that. Now given a couple of minutes, that'll start to be totally fixed. Okay, so there's my little butterfly. Isn't he beautiful? And all I'm going to do is choose one of the craft pillow boxes from our selection, and you get, if you go to gillyhunt.com to do your shopping, please, that would be lovely. Look for the big red shopping trolley. And these are craft pillow boxes. There's the number for you, the code. And they're only £4.75, and you get 10. So by my reckonings, they're less than 50p each. So you get one, you squeeze the sides to open it, and they're all pre-scored ready for you. That little edge is already rounded and pre-scored. There you go. That's one end. Here's the other. Just let it come down. As I say, they're already pre-scored, so there's no worries about getting that nice shape. That's already going to be there. And all we now have to do is stick him on. And I'm going to use a glue dot for that. So I'm going to use our mini glue dot, but I could have used some glue or some sticky tape. But I'm actually going to use a glue dot. And can you see the little dot of glue there? I'm trying to see. There we are, look. All I'm going to do is press the butterfly onto that little glue dot. It's now on the back of my butterfly. Just for double safety, I'm going to put one at the bottom of his tail as well, so I've now got 2 on the back. Oh, there we go, can you see? And that will now stick beautifully onto there, but it will allow us to still have his wings out and flying beautifully off into the distance. There you go. One little craft pillow box, just for fun. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.